Hello, and welcome to Monday morning again. When did that happen? Hope you've all had a fantastic weekend. Today, we're going to be talking about trolls. How do we manage trolls? And also, what is a troll? Because a lot of people haven't necessarily heard that term. But trolls are basically what people refer to on social media as people who are can be quite offensive, can be quite abusive, can get on your backs, post loads of bad comments, and ultimately make your life a misery if you're managing your social media. It's quite difficult to manage trolls and understand really why people do things like that. Celebrities particularly get hounded by trolls, and that can be quite difficult. And sometimes that's why a lot of social media celebrities get social media managers to manage their social media. So trolls can often be confused with disgruntled customers. Social media trolls are slightly different. Disgruntled customers are customers that might not be particularly happy, so leave you some bad comments on your social media. They're not necessarily trolls, they're just unhappy customers. Now, hopefully, you'll never have had any problem with either, but sometimes it does happen. And today I'm just going to be talking about how we deal with disgruntled customers, because they can end up as trolls if they're not managed properly, and also how we deal with trolls, because there are quite some simple steps that you can put in place to make sure that never happens. And I know that the fear of trolls can often put a lot of companies off ever going on social media in the first instance. So again, I think it's really important to talk about how we can manage that and how we can minimize trolls. Okay, so what do? Well, first of all, I thought I'd talk about customers, because if you've got an unhappy customer, then sometimes they're going to leave a comment on your social media pages. They might leave you a bad review, or they might leave a comment in the feed. They might regularly put angry faces if you're on Facebook and things like that, comment on all your posts until they get heard. Now, if they have had a bad customer service, then that needs nipping in the bud straight away. And by what I mean by nipping in the bud is don't ignore them. I see so many companies that have social media pages that just ignore bad comments. And if it's from a customer who genuinely feels that they've had a bad service, whether you think they have or not, then you need to respond to them. And the best way to respond to them is being really apologetic and really, really sorry. Now, you might not think that it's your fault, but ultimately, you need to just apologise. So as soon as someone puts a negative comment on your social media that relates to your products or services, respond as soon as you possibly can and apologise and say, we're really sorry that you seem to have had this experience. We can't understand how it's happened, but we absolutely assure you that we're looking into it and we will send you a message back. And do look into it. Find out who has spoken to that customer, what's happened, what's gone wrong. Because simply, a lot of the time, it's a lack of communication. Someone that might have just slipped through the loop and just not been responded to. Show that you are a responsible company and you are following up on your complaints. Because that disgruntled customer then feels like they've been heard and that someone's listening and someone's on their side. Once you've got to the bottom of that complaint, go back onto your social media, respond again and said, we've looked into this. So sorry you've had this experience. We're sending you an email or a private message. Take that conversation then off social media and respond to them privately. Therefore, other people that are looking at these comments can, one, see you've acknowledged that there's a problem and you've apologised, and two, that you've then come back, responded again, followed it up, and then spoken to that customer, the public arena. Now, remember that you're not just talking to that customer. You're on social media, it's completely public. So you've got to think about other people that might be reading these comments so that they understand what might have happened. So the worst thing you can ever do is be really defensive about it. Don't ever be defensive, because if people don't know what the problem is, people are, you know, your followers, you're on your pages, they don't know what the issue is. But if they can see that you're looking into it, you're being apologetic, then you will win a lot of favors and you will diffuse the situation. So don't ever provide excuses. Don't ever be defensive. Just completely follow it up. Hi, Tony. Thanks for joining us. I've got a few questions on the chat, so I'm just going to whiz through them. Yeah, Amanda says it's really bad when you see a company just replying with direct messages. Be transparent. Absolutely. Don't just respond to a complaint by saying, oh, direct messages, because it looks like there's an issue and you're passing the problem on. You want to show that you're responding to that issue. You're really sorry, whether it's your fault or not, whether you agree with this customer or not. You need to show your followers that you're responding, you're being apologetic, you're looking into it, you're taking that complaint seriously, and it'll win you a lot of favors. So that's a disgruntled customer, and it's slightly different to being a troll. Another way, some of the ways that you can actually diffuse situations and reduce complaints, whether it be from a troll or complaints from a customer, is by setting up your pages to be more personable. I know that if I've got a complaint, if I go on to social media pages, I don't often do it. I tend to contact the companies first if I've got a complaint privately. But if I was to issue a complaint, if I was really angry, and I have been angry with a company in the past, I've gone on to their social media pages and left them a public comment because they've not been listening to me. And the issue there is that the customer service is not in place. I've emailed, I've phoned, been completely ignored. So what do I do next? I go onto the social media. Now, one of the ways you can minimize that is by making your pages, your social media pages, quite personable. What I mean by that is having pictures of you and your team, so you're actual people. It's a lot harder to complain if you can see actual people on your pages because you've got that connection. It's more personable. It's more personal. Now make sure that if you've got pictures of you, your company, how passionate you are, then people might think twice about leaving a public complaint. Whereas if your pages look completely anonymous, all you're talking about, all the pictures are of your services, it's not about people, you're not talking about your staff and what fantastic team you've got, it's completely anonymous, then people will happily leave a comment, because it's a lot harder to leave a comment to someone personally than it is to leave comments to an anonymous social media page, which is often why people tend to turn to social media pages, because they're a bit more anonymous than actually emailing an individual or phoning an individual. So try and make your pages more personable. And in that way, you're just reducing that element of risk. Okay. Now, so that's a disgruntled customer. I'm just going to switch my phone over. So if you've got a disgruntled customer, that's one of the ways that you can manage it. The other things are trolls. Now, trolls are people who enjoy complaining and people who enjoy making people's lives a misery. Now, this is slightly different. This could be a customer that's it's gone on too long. You've ignored them completely. They've not got a voice, or it can simply just be someone who likes doing it for fun. In worst case scenarios, well, it might be competitors who are just spamming pages. So there are a number of things that you can do. You can look at setting up your social media pages, particularly on the likes of Facebook. You can ban what they call profanity filters, set it to quite strong. You can actually input a list of swear words, that sort of thing, that are banned from your page, that people can't use, people can't comment. But again, with trolls, don't just let it happen. Trolls are looking for a response. So rather than respond straight away, leave them for a bit. If this is the first time you've had this angry comment or whatever, if it's a new person that's come onto your page, leave it. Maybe leave it till the next day and then respond. You need to judge it appropriately. Leave it till the next day and then respond when you're feeling a bit calmer. Remember who's going to be reading these comments. Be very, very calm and collected. Don't be defensive. Don't throw threats back. Just be, question, why are you putting this content on here? One, by delaying it, they're being ignored because trolls like an immediate, they're waiting for the wow factor and the response. So by leaving them to stew a little bit, they might get a little bit bored. Two, by leaving it for a period of time, is your community might actually jump to your defense. If you've got a really good community on your social media who are active, follow your content, then they may respond on your behalf. And I was working at Nomad Games. I had about 5,000 followers on one of my Facebook pages, and I knew if anyone put a complaint on there, or I had one troll who had an issue with, then my community would respond for them. Now, if this becomes a problem, then you can ban them and you can delete the comments. This is your absolute last resort, because you can guarantee if you delete the comments, they're going to go back replying, going, oh, they've deleted our comments, we can't have a free voice. And if you ban them, they're going to go onto your other social media pages and hound those. They'll follow you around. It will make them angry, and it will feed their fire. So again, make sure that you just leave a bit of time before you ban them. I mean, obviously, if it's horrendously offensive and totally unjustified, then and it's consistent, then yes, you do need to ban them and report them. You do need to report. You can report them through whatever social media channel they're on. But the best thing to do is, if it continues for a week or so, completely ignore them. Do not respond. Just don't respond. This is not a complaint. This is different. This is pure people just spamming your page and waiting for a reaction for the fun of it half the time. So just don't respond. Don't feed the troll, as I like to say, because they want to have that surprise factor. They love that reaction. That's what they're feeding off. They want a reaction. They want you to respond. So don't do it. Ultimately, if you've got a good community, your community might respond, but just don't respond. And if you feel you have to, then really think carefully about how you are responding. I've seen time and time again, the worst thing you can do, the minute you get getting in conversation with a troll, they absolutely love it, and it's really difficult to not keep responding back. But the best thing you can do is not respond. So generally, if you do get a troll, not a disgruntled customer, if you've got a disgruntled customer, then that needs addressing in the right way that we've discussed. But if you get a troll, well done. You're probably doing pretty good. You've probably got quite an active social media page for someone want to be trolling you. So rejoice and ignore them. Get it all the time. Our first instinct is to respond on the defense. Do not do that. Just ignore them. And that is the best way to diffuse a situation like that. Obviously, there are lots of things you do, and hopefully you'll never have to worry about that. But there are ways and means to manage it. And don't ever worry about putting content out in case you get trolled. The majority of people on social media are absolutely really wonderful people. And unfortunately, it's the tiny minority that do occasionally spoil it. And hopefully you will never have to put up with a troll. I've had one in my entire social media career. That was when I was at Nomad Games. We had over 20,000 followers across all our platforms, and I had one. And we didn't actually ban him in the end. We managed him out. And in the end, we turned it around, and he actually became quite a good advocate. Because trolls actually, they're commenting on your content, so they are actually helping to grow and share your content wider. But they're not ideal. But if you manage it in the right way, in a really positive way, and you've got a really positive community, then you can manage them. And they get bored. They only want the sort of wow factor. They want to upset. They want to get a reaction. So if you show you're not upset and you're not got a reaction, they'll get bored and they'll move on to someone else. So that's the best way to manage it. So I don't know if you've ever had any problems like this. Put them in the chat. We can have a talk about it. The main thing is never be scared, and just be yourselves. Just don't react. Do not react. Do not react. And understand the difference between that customer and troll. So that's it in a nutshell. How to deal with trolls and best practice customer service with customer complaints. Again, same with reviews. If you get a bad review, apologize. Respond to that bad review. Don't ever leave a bad review without a response. Some people will leave you a bad review and they've never done business with you because they've got the wrong company. So again, always respond. So that's it really on how to manage trolls. If you do, I have got some workshops. I'll do my usual sort of plug at the end whilst I wait. If anyone's got any questions, put them in the chat before I sign off in the next couple of minutes. Or any comments, if you've got any other good ideas on how to manage disgruntled customers and trolls, put them in the comments. Whilst I do my little plug for my next workshops. So I've got obviously if you're in Warrington or local to Warrington, if you're not, this probably won't help. But I have got some workshops coming up on, the next one is Wednesday, 19th of June. We're doing LinkedIn. So if you want to come along, bring your laptop. I've got 4 places left on that workshop that we're holding in Lynn. And I'm going to be showing you how to generate leads on LinkedIn. So if you're not particularly active on LinkedIn, but a lot of your clients are business clients, and you want to grow your business, then come along and I'll show you how to create more leads on LinkedIn. We'll actually be getting our hands dirty and typing in, improving our profiles, and I'll showing the searches on how to connect with the right people and potential customers. And then on the 4th of July, I'm running a Facebook ads. So if you're on Facebook and you boost posts at the moment, please don't boost posts. Complete waste of money. Facebook's way of making some quick money out of you because it's so easy to do. The Facebook ads platform, a little bit more complicated, but fantastic. Get a really good return on investment. And I'll be showing you how to use that. And we'll actually be setting up our own live ads in that workshop. Really huge advocate of learning as you go along. So all my workshops, you'll have to bring your laptops along. And then I've got Facebook for beginners. So if you've got a new Facebook page, or you've got a Facebook page that has quite a few followers, but you're not getting any engagement at the moment, on the 16th of July, that's in Birchwood, we're going to be talking about looking at Facebook pages, where all your keywords go, your search engine optimization, because it does have SEO in there, and how to set up your pages correctly and what type of content works. So we'll be going looking at that. So that's it, really. And welcome to everybody who are watching this in my Facebook group. So welcome. I have quite a few new followers as I'm piloting. I have 12 people on my Facebook online course pilot at the moment. They're being my guinea pigs. They're testing out lots of content for me. So thank you very much to those people for helping me out and testing my online Facebook course. This will be going on to market this summer. So if you want to learn how to use Facebook but can't come along to one of my workshops because you're not local or you don't have the time, I'm developing a series of bite-sized physio tutorials to talk you through right from setting up a business page right through to optimizing it so you rank high in the searches, doing fantastic content, and looking at how you monitor and measure success and continual improvement. So again, we're developing that online, but not available yet. My test crew are looking at my videos and assessing whether they make sense or not. So thanks for that. So thanks everyone today for watching. I think we've got Amanda and Tony and Heather. So thanks for jumping in on the live stream and with your questions. Again, if you've got any more questions, just put them in the chat. I'm gonna sign off now, but again, you can comment once this video is live. Not live, once I've downloaded it onto Facebook and YouTube. I will see you again next Monday at 12:30. Again, if there's any content you ever want me to talk about, please let me know. Just post it on my Facebook page, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, wherever you might be watching. And I'm happy to do a discussion on a particular topic that you need help with. So we'll see you next week at 12:30. Okay, thanks for watching, guys.